All right, in this episode, we talk about the most effective form of maximizing power
and dynamic athletic performance, jumping, running, throwing.
CEO Stephen Go down here at the @TopVelocity #Pitching Tips Show, where you go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and @TopVelocity #Pitching Tips. You ask your question, anything on pitching, anything we do here at Top Velocity, we answer it on the show. If you haven't already, go subscribe, share the videos, help us keep this going, keep asking your great questions. Also go to Top Velocity, guys. Check out our programs. Check out all the great, really not just information, really the great application that you need to getting to your velocity goals. That's what we do. Guys, we're drowning in information. I could do a show a day, and I'm going to. But the point is you don't need more information, guys. Yeah, it's good to get an understanding what's going on. And well, in a way, I guess you do need a little more information, but you don't need an overload of information. What you need is an application that's gonna get you to your goals. And that's what our 3X programs do. While you're learning all this stuff, you can keep learning, but it's never gonna benefit you if you can focus it into something that progresses you effectively to your goals. And that's why you need the 3X Pitching Velocity programs, or come down to 3X Velocity Camp. So let's get started on this episode. What is the question for today? Andrew Knutson 44 asks, what are the types of cleans and how each one benefits? Awesome. Okay, so we'll go over the variations of cleans, right? We have, I'll just take the bar here. We've got, of course, let's first talk about the Olympic lift. So, basically in the Olympics, which is hundreds of years old, right? They wanted to develop a sport which trained something that was very athletic, so they could test the athleticism of a man. And they found that trying to get weight over your head takes a considerable amount of strength. Power is what we've learned about, and it's a great way to assess athleticism. So they developed lifts that they developed technique of lifts to get weight over the head in two different ways. And there's two lifts in Olympic lifting, technically, two lifts in competition, even though we have tons of variations of those lifts. The two are the clean and jerk, which is pretty much bar from the floor, everything's from the floor, okay? Clean and jerk, you don't have to pop it down. Look, let me see that again. Clean and jerk, okay? Which is from the floor, okay? Jump it to the chest, and then over the head, that's the clean and jerk, and then the snatch, okay? The snatch from the floor straight to over the head, okay? So those are the two lifts, but we have variations of those lifts. Okay, the first one would be the power clean. Power clean's from the floor, okay? And you're catching it in a high, almost a standing position. You do have a bend in the knee and hips, but it's a power clean because you're throwing the bar high and you're having to put more power under it to do that. The Olympians in competition do full cleans. So they don't catch high, they catch low. They catch down here. Actually, the lower the better, because therefore they don't have to pull the bar as high, which allows you to do massive amounts of weight. In the sport of pitching, we want to benefit from the power of the lifts. So our emphasis is not on how much weight we can do, even though we do want to do a good amount of weight. It's more an emphasis on how much power we can put under that bar, so we are always catching in a standing position with a slight bend to receive the bar. Then we're more emphasizing power. So we, in the 3X programs, we never do full cleans, okay? I don't promote it because you're gonna be taking lightweight and moving away, an Olympian would move with heavy weight, so it's not gonna benefit you as much. We want you to go into full power clean. From there, we have the hang cleans. The hangs could be in any position below the knee, which is a little bit harder, above the knee, mid-thigh, high thigh. The higher we go up, the faster we start, okay? And the lower we go, the more power or strength we need to initially put under the bar to keep it moving and then accelerate. Okay, so Those are each variation. So you could say power clean is one lift, below the knee is one lift, below the knee one lift, mid thigh one lift, high or almost a muscle up they call is high up on the hip as another. Okay, and that's pretty much all the variations. You can then do a 3-position clean where you go from the floor to below the knee to high thigh, and one after the other. That'd be a 3-position clean, all in that power clean catch or rack position. And then from there, the other variations would be the jerks. Technically, your question's saying what variations of the cleans, that wouldn't be there. The other one that we didn't talk about, which doesn't involve the catch, is the clean pull, okay? So that's from the floor, not moving into the final phase, which is the rack or the catch, and that all you do is focus on the power, initiating the first pull to the second pull, okay, and building power, okay? So that would be it. You got clean pull, power clean, below the knee clean, say three different thigh level cleans, and then even the 3-position clean, 5, 6, 7. You got about 7 lifts that you can do right there. That could be really effective in your training programs, mixing those in, and that's what we do with 3x pitch and velocity programs. So I'll ask Steven if he wants to put any input in on that, but that's pretty much it, unless he thinks I left something out.
What are the benefits? We asked that
Right.
question. Come on.
So there we go. That's why Steven's here. Keep me on target. All right. The benefits are, well, we know 2, and it comes from a study that found that as far as the cleans, they are the best form of training. So the best exercise, this is what it says, at maximizing power, mechanical power. So if you're trying to build more power in your system, become more explosive, this is the best form of training to maximize that power. Because you're loading weight, which we know when we load weight, the body has to fire more motor units, it has to activate those motor units, and it's going to, therefore, through a jumping movement, which is a plyometric movement, it's going to load into an explosive movement, and it's going to maximize the power. We also know Garhammer found that it's about 5 times more power pushed out of these lifts as opposed to a deadlift and a squat. So it's way, way more on the power end. Obviously, that's why it's the best form of training to maximize power than those lifts. And the other key benefit, which I think is as important and more important, it's the most effective form of training to enhance dynamic athletic performance. Dynamic athletic performance is the ability to move dynamically, which the study says jumping, running, throwing, dynamic movements. It's the best at influencing those movements. And what I say, and what I believe is it develops a more efficient kinetic chain or kinetic movement through that chain. Your central nervous system gets more efficient in how it uses the body to move weight up, which is like we do in the mound. We move weight, we just move it more linear as we move force and weight up into the ball, and that's why it's so effective. But is it enough just to do the cleans, to throw harder? It can be, but to really get into the elite levels, it has to then, you have to put in throwing drills to train the intricacies of taking that power from these vertical movements into more linear movements, and to get an even better result in your ball speed.
I think cleans, like Brent's saying, I think it's just a tool. But it's one of the best tools that we can use for developing power. Not even saying it is the best tool. The studies have shown, there is no arguing that. It is the best tool, but you have to use other tools to keep building up the power and stuff. But I also want to just say, I think that cleans, if you weren't gifted athletically and you need to get more athleticism, more power, more strength, I think there is no other better way than the cleans. If you want to run faster, you want to jump higher, you want to throw harder, the cleans, you have to have them in your program, because there might be a genetic limit where you're like, okay, I wasn't that gifted, I can't jump that high, I can't run that fast. But if you're moving heavy weight fast in an explosive manner with good technique through the cleans, I think it's one of the best ways to change what you were given. It's a performance enhancement. It's crazy how awesome it is. So get using it. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, and here's the problem and why you don't see it in every program, which if it didn't have this learning curve, it would be in every single baseball program. The problem is that it is highly technical. Just like pitching. Pitching's highly technical. So you have to learn the technical movements before you get to the real benefits. And yeah, if you try to jump through those, you could hurt yourself. So a lot of coaches look at that and they throw it out because they don't have the understanding to technically train it. And because they're not doing that, they don't want guys getting hurt. So they just throw it out, and then a lot of them just start discrediting it. Point is if you can learn it technically, and that's what we do here, if you come down 3X Velocity Camp and learn it technically, you will reach all those benefits and you'll have an edge in the game.
And if you're not learning it technically too, and you have bad technique with it, you're not going to benefit from the power. So you have to have the technique to benefit from the power, and it'll keep you from getting injured. So don't just go in like being like, I'm going to power clean 300 pounds, yeah, and this is going to work, and you just have terrible technique, and you end up hurting yourself and being like, this didn't do shit. It's like, you did it wrong.
Right, and there's phases of training. We need to go through an anatomical phase of training as a beginner. We need to prepare the body for the loads. If not, you'll hurt it. So you can't just jump into this. You actually have to learn the progress to get to an advanced level, which is where we want to get you to gain velocity. So, good question. Go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Top Velocity, hashtag pitch and tip. Ask your question, we'll answer it on the show. And if you haven't already, check out topvelocity.net. Check out our camps coming up. Come down here and work with us, and we'll teach you how to be a badass with these cleans and increase your velocity on the mountain.
Yeah. Hold on.